Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome to the channel. Today we are taking a look at the Hobbymate's 16 channel Frsky compatible receiver. It is a smart port enabled ultra micro receiver with telemetry, so it supports LUA script, and it also has RSSI built in, just like the Frsky XSR receiver, but in a smaller size. The input voltage is 4 to 6 volts, and it's got diversity antennas just like the XSR receiver, and the effective range is set to be 1.5 kilometers. So here I have the XSR receiver, so you can see the size difference side by side. Now both of them seem to have the same type of connector, but the pinouts are different on each of these receivers. Now here's the XM Plus receiver. So as you can see, the size difference, it is right about in between the XSR receiver and the XM Plus receiver. Now it comes in a static free bag like this with the pinout diagram on the outside of the bag, and it came with a couple of wiring harness, one of which is just a 3-pin servo connector type of wiring harness, and the other one I have installed already on a quadcopter, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Alright, so let's go ahead and bind the receiver to a transmitter. I'm going to be using my Toolkit RC's M8 charger. It is the most effective and the easiest way to bind the receivers to your transmitter. So I got the 3-pin servo connector harness already plugged into the receiver, and I'm going to plug it into the servo port on the side of the Toolkit RC charger. Make sure you get the wiring correctly on there, and I'm going to stand it up, and this is kind of like the easiest way to bind a receiver. I'm going to depress the bind button that is right here. As you can see, there's a tiny little bind button, very small, but when you depress it, you will be able to tell that you have depressed it. Let me reset my timer on the Tyrannus. Okay, I got it depressed, and I'm going to power up the charger, and at which time it will power up the receiver. And as you can see, just like the Frsky receivers, there's a red light as well as a green light, and I have the Tyrannus QX7S ready to bind with the bind ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and depress it, and now you see that the red light is flashing. That means there is a successful bind. So I'm going to power off the receiver and exit out of my bind on my transmitter and power it back up, and I should have a solid green light. And there you go, solid green light. And this Toolkit RC's M8 charger, you can also check on your receiver. So I'm going to go ahead and check on this receiver to make sure that it is functioning correctly.
2 minutes.
Yep, everything is working on this receiver. All right, guys, I have a quadcopter here. It is the Helifar Futon 2, and here's the other wiring harness that's already been soldered onto the flight controller here. And instead of showing you the flight controller here, I'm going to show you the diagram of the flight controller, and here it is. It's the Kakute F4. So here are the wirings that I have soldered onto the flight controller. There's the ground pad, so I have the black wire soldered onto the ground pad. And here's the 5 volt. So I have the red wire soldered onto the 5 volt. And on the Kakute, there's a pad marked SP. And if you look at what the SP is for, it is for the Frsky Smart Port Telemetry on UART1. But you are able to use any of Open UART on the RX side to connect your Smart Port Telemetry wire. And one more wire I have soldered onto the R3 pad, and that'll be my S-bus pad, because on the Kakute, the R3 pad is the automatic S-bus pad. So I have my wiring harness soldered on just like that, and it is the same exact wiring harness that came with the 3-pin servo connector. So I'm just going to unplug the 3-pin servo connector and connect my receiver onto this wiring harness. And I have a double-sided sticky tape on the VTX, so I'm just going to mount my receiver right on it and press down, and that should hold it in place. And I have the receiver wires that are going to go on the zip ties that are tied onto the rear arms of the quadcopter. And so here's the diagram once again of the receiver. So there's the ground wire, the 5-volt, and the S bus, and the S port wire. You don't have to worry about the RSSI because it already has built-in RSSI output. All right, so what you want to do next is, with your quadcopter turned on, go to your telemetry page, and that'll be the 11th page of the 12 pages. And here you can set your low alarm values for your RSSI, as well as the critical alarm values for your RSSI, which is already preset to 45 and 42. And I am good with that, so I'm just going to leave it just like that. And as you can see, here are the sensors that the flight controller is outputting, and I have values already showing, but for the very first time when you do this, there won't be any values showing up here. So you want to go down to where it says discover new sensors, and you want to hit enter, and that'll bring up all of the values. So you want to stop discovering new sensors, and that is all you got to do in the telemetry page of your transmitter. All right, so here we are in Betaflight, and in the setups page, you will want to check to make sure that you have some kind of an RSSI value fluctuating up and down as you are moving your transmitter closer and away from your quadcopter. So make sure that is happening. And in the ports page, what is important here is to turn on smart port on the correct UART that you have installed your smart port wire to. And in my case, it is UART 1. So you want to go here and turn on smart port under the telemetry output. And also, because I have my S bus wire connected to the UART 3, I want to turn on this serial RX. And that is the two main things that you want to do in the ports page. And you want to hit save and reboot. And in the configurations page, what you want to do here is scroll down and turn on serial based receiver, and turn on S bus because this is a S bus receiver, as well as turn on telemetry. And then you want to save and reboot here as well. And of course, you're going to go into your modes, and you probably already have it set up already. So another important thing is you want to go into the OSD menu, and you want to turn on RSSI and place the RSSI value where you want it to show up on your Betaflight OSD on-screen display. And that is everything that you need to do in Betaflight. All right, guys, so here we are back on the transmitter in the setups page. And if I page forward, you could also page backward, by the way, by long pressing the page button. But right after the telemetry page, and we are here in the display page, which is 12 of 12. And on screen 1, if you click enter and scroll to go to script, and if you already have installed LUA script on your micro SD card, you can go ahead and choose which one you have installed. In my case, I have Betaflight as well as Butterflight, and this Kakute F4 is Betaflight, so I'm going to hit that, enter, or exit out of there. And if I long press the page button from here, it'll take me directly into the PID values, and I need to power up my quadcopter for the values to appear. And there you go. From here, I am able to change my PIDs directly from my transmitter, as well as many other values directly from the transmitter without having to go into the Betaflight OSD menu using your FPV goggles to change any of the values. And I can even change my VTX values directly from my transmitter as well. So that is one of the benefits of having a telemetry receiver. All right, so here's the weight of the XSR receiver, and it is coming in at 6 grams. And here is the Hobbymate receiver, 5 grams. And here is the XM Plus receiver, and that one is coming in at 4 grams. So coming up next is a couple of flight test videos, in which the first video is a test flight with an XSR receiver, and I cruise around to see how far I can cruise around till the telemetry and the RSSI warning alarms go off. And on the second flight, I do the same treatment, but with the Hobbymate's 16-channel receiver. So let's take a look. All right, here we go with the test flight with the XSR receiver. So let's go ahead and arm and check it out. Such a beautiful day today. Minimum amount of wind. And this Hellfire Futon 2 is just an awesome quadcopter. Let me go and take a little stroll over to this bush over here. All right.
Telemetry lost.
Ooh, okay. Telemetry lost and telemetry recovered. So right around 48 on the RSSI to the bush. And let me go as far as I can to this side of the field. So right around here, I want to turn around.
Telemetry lost. Telemetry recovered.
Yeah, right around 50. So that's a pretty good distance right there. Now let's see if I can make it to the Joshua trees way out in the field here. Very nice. And I'm making it.
Telemetry lost. Telemetry recovered.
Ooh,
2
so
minutes. Telemetry lost.
I'm able to wrap around the first Joshua tree. So going and wrapping around the second.
Telemetry lost.
Oh man.
Telemetry recovered.
So wrapping around the second Joshua tree, I don't want to attempt because I don't want the quadcopter falling out of the sky. You guys want to get a good quadcopter that will take abuse.
Telemetry lost. Telemetry recovered.
This Futon 2 is just awesome. Man, I'm getting all kinds of telemetry lost, telemetry recovered. The XSR is a good receiver, but I always have that problem where it loses connection, and sometimes it does a fail-safe
1 minute.
not that far away from you. And I think one of the best ones that I've used so far is just the XM Plus receiver. That one gives me good RSSI value in this field. But this is what it is with the XSR receiver on the Futon 2. So my RSSI reading is not that high all around. I'm always skimming right around a little above 50 here, and I'm very close to myself here.
20 seconds.
So there you have it, guys. The little test flight with the XSR receiver. So I'm going to switch out this
10,
receiver
9,
and
8, 7, 6, 5,
check it out with
4,
the other
3,
receiver and
2,
see if we get any better
Timer 1 elapsed.
telemetry and RSSI values. Just an awesome quadcopter, guys, this thing. Let's go ahead and bring it in for a landing. There we go. All right, here we go with another test flight with the Hobbymate D16 Frsky compatible receiver now installed in the Hellfire Futon 2. So let's go and check it out. All right, seems to be working pretty good so far. Okay, let's check out this little bush right here. As I recall, I got some RSSI low right around here. But check it out. I have the RSSI low and the critical alarm values set identically the same. And we are able to traverse a little bit further without any warning. So that is a good start. So let's go on to the other side of the field here. and I'm still getting right around 50, 60. Oh, look at that, 79, 80. So I'm getting a little bit better RSSI values than with the XSR receiver that I was getting yesterday. And oh wow, look at that. I'm still pushing it. Oh wow, this is going pretty far.
Telemetry lost.
Okay.
Telemetry recovered.
There you go. Telemetry lost, telemetry recovered.
Telemetry lost. Telemetry recovered. RSSI low. Telemetry lost. Telemetry recovered.
Okay, so I did go beyond yesterday's distance this way also. So far it is working out pretty good. Let me go and check out the Joshua trees over there. And yesterday I had to turn around in between the two Joshua trees with the XSR receiver. By the way, this is the day after. So check it out. The first Joshua tree. And let me see if I can mosey around the second Joshua tree. And look at that. I can even go further away. And the car is right there. So if I go right around here, I'm right
RSSI low.
on the other side of the car. So there you go, guys. The car does play a role here. So I should be getting another
Telemetry lost.
Yep,
Telemetry
warning.
recovered.
And the VTX is giving me a lot of snow as well. So yeah, all in all, so far it is doing very nicely. I'm getting a lot more distance than the XSR receiver, and this is a smaller version of the XSR receiver, and it does have telemetry, so you are able to put LUA script, and it also supports LUA script as well, so you can change your values, PIDs and stuff like that right from your transmitter without the Betaflight OSD. So that is another thing that is positive about getting a telemetry receiver. Unlike the XM or the XM Plus receiver, they do have RSSI, but they do not support telemetry. But you are able to choose now between the XSR receiver, or this one here, the Hobbymate D16 Frsky compatible receiver, and the RXSR receiver, which is a tiny little receiver that supports telemetry as well. So let's try and see how far I can go on this side of the field, and I'm still going. Oh yeah, this is like really far now. Oh my, there's some power lines passing through here, so I'll turn around before the power line, and please don't let me drop in the water. So I'll traverse myself back on the dirt side of the field, and all kinds of cracks in the dirt here because of the recent rain, which is sad because it is not flat anymore. And somebody over here came in and did some donuts too. What a shame. I wanted to do some RC car speed runs right here. So right around here I can still do my little speed run, but there's some grooves and stuff in the dirt. So there you have it, guys, the Hobbymate D16 Frsky compatible receiver. I think it's a great alternative if you are not liking the small size of the RXSR receiver. And I think the RXSR receiver comes in at $20 plus. And the XSR now, you can get it for about $15 to $20. And this one here is going for right around $16 to $17. So very nice pricing. And it does everything that the XSR receiver can do. So very nice receiver by Hobbymate. So we're going to bring it in for a landing. So I think this is one of the good receivers to try out if you want to get telemetry. All right, very nice. And I'm getting about 6 minutes of flight time on this Helifar Futon 2 with a 1300 milliamp China Hobbyline 4S battery. Just cruising though. All right, there you go, guys.
Bit by bit, creative imagination